na mga nag-o-observe sa impeachment process ay wala rin po silang appearance of bias. Okay, and aside from this po, ipakita ko na lang din yung Senate impeachment rules mismo para maintindihan nyo rin po talaga. So ito po, Resolution number 39, Republic of the Philippines Resolution adopting the rules of procedure on impeachment trials. So yung una po dito, Senator shall observe political neutrality during the course of the impeachment trial. Political neutrality shall be defined as exercise of public officials' duty without unfair discrimination and regardless of party affiliation or preference. Or in simple terms po, hindi sila dapat mag-decide sa actions sila sa Senate Impeachment Court because of their political affiliation. So this is just another way of saying na dapat wala pong bias, impartial po talaga yung senator judges natin. So nasa Article 3 po yan ng Senate Rules on Impeachment. And then ipakita ko lang din po sa inyo yung oath mismo ng senator judges natin para maintindihan nyo talaga. Ito po, zoom in ko lang para makita nyo kasi maliit pala. So kita nyo, form of oath to be administered to the members of the Senate and the presiding officer sitting in the trial of impeachment. I solemnly swear that in all things appertaining to the trial of the impeachment of ito name to ng respondent now pending, I will do impartial justice according to the Constitution and laws of the Philippines. Okay, so hopefully po nag-gets ninyo yung pinaka-foundation po ng discussion natin na nagsisimula po dun sa Section 1, Article 3 of the Bill of Rights, tapos sa Code of Judicial Conduct and Accountability of Judges, tapos ngayon po dito sa oath ng mga senator judges natin, plus dun sa Article 3 din ng Senate Impeachment Rules. Yung pinaka-common denominator po talaga dyan ay dapat impartial justice yung makuha po ng respondent sa impeachment process. Meaning, yung senator judges po natin ay dapat impartial talaga, walang pinapanigan at hindi mag-base lang sa political affiliations yung mga actions nila. However po, you should not be confusing that with whether or not hindi na pwede magtanong yung senator judges natin aggressively na kung saan dahil sa pagka-aggressive nila ay mukhang may pinapanigan na sila, may it be for the prosecution or for the defense. Kasi diba tandaan natin, sinabi rin, hindi lang actual impartiality but appearance of impartiality. However, again, dapat po wag niyo yun i-confuse with taking part or aggressively taking part in the proceedings. So ang sinabi po ng Supreme Court dito, however, this is not to say that judges must remain passive or silent during the proceedings since they are in a better position to observe the demeanor of the witness as he testifies on the witness stand. It is only natural for judges to ask questions to elicit facts with a view to attain justice for the parties. Questions designed to clarify points and to elicit additional relevant evidence are not improper. Also, the judge being the arbiter may properly intervene in the presentation of evidence to expedite and prevent unnecessary waste of time. So in simple terms po, wag natin dapat paghaluin or i-confuse yung pagiging impartial from being passive or aggressive. Magkaiba po yun. Kasi pwede ka naman po mag-actively participate, pwede ka po maging aggressive sa questioning mo, pero it does not mean you are now being partial or being biased, di ba? As long as masundan po yung mga guidelines dito, ang sinabi po ng Supreme Court dito, questions designed to clarify points and to elicit additional relevant evidence are not improper. Di ba? Tas ang sinabi rin, the judge being the arbiter may properly intervene in the presentation of evidence to expedite and prevent unnecessary waste of time. So dito pa lang po makita natin na pwede talaga maging aggressively at maging active participant yung senator judges natin. As long as they are doing it na hindi po sila nag-fill in the blanks, hindi nila dinadagdagan yung legal theory ng either prosecution or defense, hindi po sila nagdadagdag sa statements ng witnesses or ng facts to the case, then that is proper po. So kung makita po ninyo ang controlling principle talaga dito is pag clarificatory question lang po, kahit na po mukhang pinapanigan yung isang side, that is allowed as long as part na po yun ng testimony ng witness, part ng evidence, and part ng case records. Okay, so yan po ang dapat nyo talaga maintindihan. Again, please do not confuse yung pagiging impartial from being aggressive and actively participating in the proceedings kasi trabaho po yan ng senator judges or ng judges po talaga in general. And even in the presentation of evidence, pwede nga po mag-intervene din yung judges according to the Supreme Court. Ang una ko pong masasabi sa manner po ng pag-preside over ni Senator Escudero as the presiding officer, ang first comment ko po dyan, I'll be honest, kala ko po may may papanigan siyang isang side because of all the political noise po na tinatapon against him or yung mga lumalabas, lalo na po in relation dun sa paglipat niya ng majority. Kasi ang sinasabi, di ba, may pinipressure daw siya ganyan-ganyan ng mga cases. So I was expecting mukhang may papanigan siya na isang side. But in fairness naman po kay Presiding Officer Escudero so far, dun sa first few weeks niya, I will still give him a passing grade. Hindi naman po pasang-awa. Kung bibigyan natin ng actual grade, sabihin ko na lang po B-. Kasi mukha naman pong pinapakinggan talaga niya yung both sides, pinapapresent niya ng maayos yung both sides. Tapos kung merong mga maneuvering na ginagawa yung both sides, prosecution at defense, ay pinapayagan naman niya. So overall po sa first few weeks, B- nga po. Kasi parang parang medyo passive pa po si Senator Escudero noon, pero patas naman siya to both parties. Meaning yung pag-preside niya, may appearance talaga na kinikater niya po yung mga motions, requests, objections ng both parties. 'Di ba? Pero ang mako-comment ko lang doon ay hindi naman po dapat fully nga maging passive, 'di ba? Yung senator judges, like what I have explained earlier. And even in jurisprudence, ang sinabi doon, ang judge mismo pwede rin mag-intervene sa presentation ng evidence na kung nakikitang may mga delaying tactics na lang na ginagawa yung isang party. Pero despite that na hindi siya ganun ka-aggressive initially sa first week, ay may passing grade pa nga rin po siya kasi na-feel ko naman po na he is doing his best para maging impartial po talaga siya at ma-present ng maayos yung both sides ng parties. So yun po yung comments ko as to the first 2 weeks ng impeachment trial. Tapos dito naman po sa third week ng impeachment trial natin, tataasan ko na po yung grade ko kay Senator Escudero, kay Presiding Officer Escudero from B- set up po ng impeachment process natin. Diba sui generis siya, may quasi-judicial, quasi-legal, plus may quasi-political angle. Lalo na nga po dito sa impeachment trial, yung impeachable officer po na nakasalang ay politician. In the impeachment process po kasi, ang main purpose talaga niyan ay to determine whether or not an impeachable offense was committed by an impeachable officer. Hindi po siya for purposes of trial by publicity or para po makapush ng political narrative. So yun po yung reason kaya ko sinabi na proper lang, kasi pag inallow po yun mag-present ng conclusions of fact, conclusions of law, tapos wala pa namang any evidence presented, in the eyes and ears ngayon of the taong bayan na nanonood, tapos hindi nila fully naunawaan pa yung proceedings, lalo na po madaming legal jargons, ay posible makaapekto yun dun sa political reputation ng impeachable officer. Eh diba, yun nga po yung impeachment, ang purpose lang ay to determine impeachable offense, kung whether or not may kinumit, at hindi siya dapat gamiting platform para gumawa ng political attacks, trial by publicity, or to push nga po a political narrative. Diba? So yan po yung main reason kaya tinaasan ko na yung grade ni Presiding Officer Escudero. And again, that is not simply because I am a quote-unquote DDS lawyer. Kung hindi, ganyan po kasi dapat yung proper talaga. Kasi at the end of the day po, yung presiding officer has the power to control kung paano yung direction or the manner kung paano i-conduct yung proceedings. Nasa Senate impeachment rules din po yan. So ipakita ko lang din po. Ito po, nasa Article 4, the presiding officer shall have the power to make an issue by himself or by the Secretary of the Senate all orders, mandates, and writs authorized by these rules or by the Senate, and to make and enforce such other regulations and orders in the premises as the Senate may authorize or provide. Diba? Plus yung pinakita ko rin po sa inyong case kanina, pwede nga rin po talaga kontrolin ng judge kung paano yung manner pag-present ng witnesses or ng evidence. Kung may clear violations of the Constitution, pwede po talaga mag-step in yung presiding officer niyan. Or in other words, pwede din po siya maging active in prohibiting the parties, may it be the prosecution or the defense, from performing certain actions kung clearly vina-violate na po nun yung Constitution, yung batas natin, or yung rules po ng Senate Impeachment Court or the rules of court. And that is mainly the reason po kaya tinaasan ko na yung grade ni Senator Escudero, kasi na-feel ko mas naging active na ngayon yung pag-preside niya sa proceedings. At tama nga naman po yun, kasi hindi naman kailangan na passive lang talaga yung senator judges natin. Hindi po nila kailangan antayin lang na mag-object yung either party kung nakikita niyang may constitutional, may very clear constitutional or legal violations na po na ginagawa yung either party. I am very aware naman po sa mga comments and sa sentiments ng general public na may ilang senator judges na bias towards the prosecution, tas may ilan naman na bias towards the defense. Dito po binabanggit ni Justice Hernando yung bend the law, kasi for him yung actions daw ng Solgen or yung actions ng government kung saan dinedefend ng Solgen goes contrary to the Constitution. Therefore, pag pinupush ng Solgen yung ganong legal position, that can be argued as bending the law daw or bending the Constitution according to Justice Hernando. So you may watch and listen po dito na lang sa part na to at maririnig nyo po mismo na si Justice Hernando yung nagsasabi ng ganong terms. Diba? So anyway po, ang main point ko lang, kaya ko po ito pinapakita kasi this is an example po sa Supreme Court natin mismo kung saan actively at aggressively po nagpa-participate yung justice natin sa pagtatanong ng questions dun sa Solgen or sa OSG, which goes contrary dun sa legal theory nila, pero presented naman po yun sa pleadings ng party. So pwede yung tanungin ng justices in a clarificatory manner. So dun po may kita natin na kahit po aggressive nagtatanong si Justice Hernando, active po, hindi naman po ibig sabihin na partial or bias agad siya. Okay, so ganyan lang din po. Similar din yan sa senator judges natin. And then lastly po, ang masasabi ko na lang, kung hindi po kayo happy sa ginagawa talaga ng senator judges natin, dun ngayon papasok yung other quasi-political aspect nitong impeachment proceedings. Kasi mga politicians naman po yung involved dito, mga senador po yan silang lahat eh. So kung tingin nyo mali nga po yung ginagawa nila senator judges, ay pwede nyo po yan sila bawian come the 2028 elections. Diba? Yan po yung magiging remedy ngayon yan ng mga reasonable observers na hindi natutuwa sa actions po nila. So for today po, ang una kong i-discuss talaga ay mga misconceptions about confidential funds. Kasi yung isang interesting issue dito ay yung tungkol sa first time daw na nag-investigate sa OVP, yung COA, kasi ngayon lang daw nagka-confidential fund. So does it mean po ba porket first time ay illegal po ba yung ganong action ng OVP or allowed po ba yun ng batas? And I think that needs to be clarified talaga para mas maintindihan po ninyong lahat kung ano ba yung legalities, mga legal issues in relation to confidential funds. And aside from that po, i-discuss ko na lang din yung actual issue talaga dito sa article of impeachment na to para hindi po tayo maligaw kasi baka po naguguluhan kayo kasi yun nga like what I stated, may misconceptions tapos madaming mga political side remarks from political people. So yun nga po, baka naguguluhan na kayo. Tatandaan nga po natin, yung impeachment process naman is not a purely political process. Quasi-political lang po siya, pero may quasi-legal pa rin po yan, meaning it still must undergo and follow the rule of law. Again, this is just a continuation nga po ng Article 1 at yung pinresent na nila ay si Attorney Wamil, yung COA na officer po or investigator na nag-investigate sa OVP at nag-result nga po sa issuance ng Notice of Disallowance against VP Sara Duterte. Okay, so basically po, ang gusto lang talaga i-point out dito ng prosecution ay merong Notice of Disallowance po talaga na in-issue against the OVP. Nandun pa lang po talaga tayo sa stage na yun. Hindi pa naman pinapakita talaga ng prosecution kung paano yung actual misuse, kung hindi yung pag-issue pa nga lang po ng Notice of Disallowance. And then yung isa pa pong nangyari dito ay nagkaroon din po ng stipulation of facts between the prosecution and the defense. At yung maganda nga po, pag nagkaka-stipulation of facts ay napapa-expedite po yung proceedings kasi nagkakasundo po yung both parties na totoo yung mga certain factual circumstances or totoo yung mga certain evidence in relation to this issue. Okay, so yan lang po as to the facts. Ngayon po, punta tayo sa first interesting question natin, which is, pwede ba talaga magka-confidential fund yung Office of the Vice President and Department of Education? So I think this is one of the big misconceptions po talaga tungkol sa confidential and or intelligence funds kasi because of the name, confidential intelligence funds, ay ang misconception po dyan ngayon or ang assumption ng taong bayan ay dapat daw sa mga police lang yan, sa mga sundalo or yung sa mga offices na nagpa-perform ng intelligent operations, pati po pala sa mga LGUs. Okay, so anyway po, yung batas natin for that is itong Joint Circular number 2015-01, January 8, 2015. So this is a joint circular po between the Commission on Audit, DBM, DILG, GCG, and the Department of National Defense. Okay, and then yung relevant provision lang po talaga natin dito na nasa section 316. 0.7. So ito po, kita nyo po ba? Okay, so kung makita po nyo, intelligence practitioners. Ang ibig sabihin po nito, ito yung mga expert or agents duly designated and authorized to perform intelligence, information gathering, and surveillance activities of the following government agencies. Meaning, ito po yung mga pwede mag-perform ng mga functions in relation to mga intelligence purposes. So kung makita po ninyo, tama naman po yung stereotype or yung assumption ng general public na generally, sa mga sundalo po talaga yan. Like dito, DND-OSEC, Philippine Navy, Air Force, PNP, Coast Guard, National Intelligence Coordination Agency, PDEA. Pero dito po kung titingnan ninyo sa 316.7, other NGAs which are expressly provided budget allocation for intelligence funds under the GAA or other laws. So ibig sabihin po nito, any national government agency basta pinrovidean po ng budget allocation for intelligence funds sa General Appropriations Act or any other law, ay considered na po yun siya as an intelligence practitioner. Okay, at ito pong NGA, nandito naman po natin yan makikita. Kita niyo naman po, di ba? NGA, National Government Agency, refers to any department, bureau, or office of the national government or any of its branches, so on and so forth. So, included po dito yung Office of the Vice President at yung Department of Education kasi that is a national government agency, di ba? National government po yung functions nun. And then, yung next po ay nasa Section 4 naman. So, ito po makikita ninyo, General Guidelines. So, this is the general guidelines about CF and or IF. The following are entitled to CF and or IF, Confidential Fund, Intelligence Funds. So, ang una po dyan, 4.1.1 ay NGAs which are expressly provided budget allocation for CF under IF under the GAA or other laws. So this is just a reiteration po yung nandun sa Section 3. So in very simple terms, any national government agency po, may it be the Office of the Vice President, Department of Education, pwede po sila magkaroon ng CF and or IF provided nasa General Appropriations Act po yun or any other law na nagpondo ng ganong programs. So therefore, hindi po illegal na bigyan ng confidential fund or intelligence fund yung offices na yon. Okay? And as a matter of fact, ang nagde-decide naman po niyan kung bibigyan ng pondo yung mga NGAs na yan ay yung Congress po yung nagde-decide niyan. And that is because the power of the purse, yung may power po mag-determine kung saan ilalagay yung pondo ng taong bayan, legislative body po or yung Congress, yung may duty po niyan or yung may constitutional mandate under the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Okay, so yan lang po ang gusto ko lang din i-reiterate kasi nakikita ko po kasi sa mga comments at sa mga iilang post na parang may insinuation na porket this is the first time nagkaroon ng investigation, first time nagkaroon ng confidential funds ng OVP, therefore illegal na daw po. Hindi po yun ganun. And that is simply, kung ako po tatanungin, mga ano na yan, political side remarks if you ask me. Kasi kung titingnan lang po natin yung mga ganong statements, kung hindi po alam ng ordinary member ng taong bayan na allowed naman pala under the batas, yung magiging presumption tuloy niya or yung matatanim sa ulo niya ay since first time to ginawa, first time nagka-investigation, ay posible ngayon kaya ginawa yun for the first time ay para kurakutin yung pera. Di ba? May mga ganyang insinuations po yan or angle and that is the reason why I'm just clarifying this. Again, this is just a reminder po to all of you sa atin pong lahat. Kasama po ako sa reminder ko na wag talaga natin paghaluin yung mga legal issues from political statements or remarks. Di ba? Kailangan po talaga natin gampanan yung mga roles natin. So ako yung lawyer na taga-explain kung ano yung nakasulat sa batas. Tapos kayo naman po, yung mga reasonable observers sa impeachment process, sa mga government actions natin, ay dapat po mag-go din kayo the next step na hindi lang kayo manonood ng balita, tas period, kundi dapat yung next step po na yon ay mag-research din po kayo or makinig kayo sa mga tingin yung reputable naman or mapapagkatiwalaan ninyong mga nag-e-explain na mga experts. Okay? So yan lang po para hindi tayo maligaw-ligaw kasi nakita ko po sa survey, Okta survey, na madaming gustong magkaroon ng impeachment trial, madaming gustong mag-base yung impeachment decision later on sa evidence, pero yung actual daw po na nanonood ng impeachment trial ay around nasa 14% lang. Pero the first two situations I mentioned, 70% plus yung may gusto nun. So yung point ko lang po, pag ganun yung data, ang interpretation ko po dun, parang madaming gusto yung impeachment pero hindi talaga fully nanonood sa proceeding, so baka naliligaw-ligaw po kayo. Diba? At that is probably a reason kaya medyo madami pong mga misinformation, mga misconceptions about the impeachment process. So again, just a reminder lang po to all of us na maging responsible po tayo. Yung kami pong mga legal experts na nag-explain at kayo po na mga nanonood, mag-next step din po kayo. Pag-aralan nyo talaga before tayo mag-comment para iwas po tayo sa fake news. Yun po yung pinaka-point ko talaga. So yung pinaka-burden po talaga ng prosecution dito ay dapat dun sa pinakadulo na nung trail nitong confidential fund or intelligence fund na involved ay mapakita nilang kinurakot talaga yon in simplest terms nung respondent. Kasi currently pa lang po ang pinapakita nila ay the foundation pa lang po. Yung una, yung last week po nangyari, pinakita nila yung land bank na nagkaroon talaga ng release ng mga ganong funds. Tapos ngayon naman po, nagkaroon ng witness or pinapresent nila yung witness para i-prove na nagkaroon talaga ng notice of disallowance. Ang problem lang po kasi ng prosecution dyan, yung mga ganong aspect aspects, I'll be completely honest po with all of you, hindi na to dapat kailangan talaga tutukan ng sobra-sobra. Kasi these are official government actions po to eh. So pag ganyan, it can be argued na pwede na yan i-take judicial notice ng court. So pag i-take judicial notice ng court, automatic part na yun siya ng court records or ng evidence. Madali na siya mapa-admit basically. Yun yung point ko talaga dito. So pag ganito, pinapakita nila na may notice of disallowance, tandaan po natin in jurisprudence po dun sa Madera case, sinabi naman po ng Supreme Court doon na hindi automatic may criminal liability porket may notice of disallowance. So ipakita ko lang din po sa inyo yung case na yun. So this one po, GR number 244128, September 8, 2020, Madera versus Commission on Audit. So I have explained this case already before at medyo mahaba po kasi pwede talaga yan iparelease ng government na binigyan ng pondo na yun. Hindi po yun basta-basta pwede pigilan. So yun yung main issue talaga na kailangan ma-overcome dito ng prosecution, and at present, kung ako po tatanungin, malayo pa po yung prosecution, yun yung reality doon. Tapos ngayon, they mentioned yung mga names din ng witnesses dito like si Mary Grace Piatos, tapos ilan pang individuals. Hindi rin kasi automatic nga na porket may mga ganong aliases will automatically show na kinurakot din agad yung pera or minisuse yung pera. Yun yung kailangan din nila ipakita pa. Plus yung isa pang problem talaga ng prosecution, this involves confidential funds kasi, so may rules on confidentiality din. So yun, kailangan din po nila ma-overcome yung mga confidentiality rules na yun. So kung makita po ninyo, mahaba pa po or madami-dami pa talagang kailangan mapakita yung prosecution as to this kung ako po ang tatanungin ninyo. Plus kung titingnan din po natin yung sa Commission on Audit, hindi pa nga po final yun kasi appealable pa po. Even though nag-decide na yung Commission on Audit and Bank na final na in-notice of disallowance, pwede pa po yun iakyat sa Supreme Court. Tapos sa Supreme Court, pwede yun ma-overturn pa. Like dito po sa case na pinakita ko sa inyo, ang ginawa ng Supreme Court dito, sinabi na tama naman na may notice of disallowance pero hindi po pinabalik yung pera kasi may good faith na napakitang defense yung respondents dito. So doon naman po siguro makikita ninyo na madami-dami pa po talaga posibleng mangyari pag yung sa notice of disallowance yung pinapag-usapan. And isa pa po, tandaan nyo rin pala, itong commentaries or ina-explain ko sa inyo ngayon ay based lang up to day 11 ng impeachment trial kasi hindi naman po natin alam ano mangyari sa mga succeeding days kung ano na yung mga prosecution witness na i-represent, ano yung mga evidence. So baka po sa mga susunod na araw ay posible na nilang mapakita talaga yung paper trail na nagkaroon talaga ng misuse. Kung ganun, edi mas lalakas po yung kaso ng prosecution. Pero yun nga po, itong ina-explain ko lang is up to today lang, which is kung ako tatanungin as of day 11, ay medyo malayo pa po yung prosecution from clearly establishing, kasi ang kailangan din po pala sa impeachment ay clear and convincing evidence. So malayo pa po sila doon to clearly establish na may misuse. Yung na-establish pa lang po nila, which was actually stipulated na rin by the defendant, is yung sa pag-issue ng land bank checks at itong sa pag-notice of disallowance, pag-issue po ng notice of disallowance. Kung ano pa kaya yung mga prosecution witnesses. Kasi pag i-present nila sila Mary Grace Piatos, yung mga ganong names, hindi naman po purkit nakakatawa pakinggan yung pangalan nga, ibig sabihin may illegal din. Kasi yung defense lang yan ay aliases yun siya, it's covered by confidentiality rules. So yan po yung kailangan i-overcome, at tandaan po natin, prosecution nga naman po yung may burden to establish the case na may mali talagang ginawa yung inaakusahan nila. So ang next po na curious ako talaga dito ay kung may attend po kaya talagang Mary Grace Piatos, kasi if I'm not mistaken, nilagay po nila yun as a witness nila ng prosecution. So yun po, abangan din natin. Ang naging malinaw para sa akin ay kung ano ba talaga yung legal theory ng prosecution dito sa Article 1, which is yung alleged confidential fund misuse. So in summary po, mukhang ang pinaka-point talaga nila ay may notice of disallowance na inisyu yung COA. Therefore, papasok yung Section 8.3 ng Joint Circular kung saan may explanation kasi doon tungkol sa presumption of personal use pag hindi po naliliquidate ng maayos or nagkakaroon nga ng issuance ng notice of disallowance. Okay, so i-explain ko po sa inyo kung ano kaya yung mga possible na mangyari with that legal theory, and then magdi-discuss lang din po ako or magbibigay ako ng comments dito sa pag-cross-examine ni Attorney Powa sa prosecution witness. This is the first cross-examination din po ng defense for this article dun sa alleged confidential fund misuse. So dito po ngayon yung naka-flash sa screen ninyo ay nagko-cross-examination naman si Attorney Powa. So yung una lang po talagang inatake dito ni Attorney Powa was the wrong information na si Vice President Sara lang daw during her term yung first time na nagkaroon ng confidential fund, yung OVP. So ito po ngayon yung fina-flash sa screen. This was a letter noong October October 16, 2014. So pinakita niya po to sa prosecution witness, and then kinlarify ng prosecution witness na based on this document ay may confidential fund din during the time of Vice President Jojo Binay. Para lang makorek yung misconception ngayon sa social media at sa general public because of the statement kahapon nung prosecution witness. And like what I explained yesterday, kahit naman nga po first time na si VP Sara lang talaga, yung OVP lang during her term nagka-confidential fund, ay hindi naman po yun illegal, di ba? Kasi allowed po yun under dun sa joint circular na pinagbabasihan din po ng prosecution. At yun po yung in-explain ko kahapon. And then may isa lang din po akong gusto i-point out pala dito kasi may part yung bago po sila mag-lunch. Etong part ay may napa-strike off the record dito si si Attorney Poa, kasi kahit po ako tatanungin niyo, improper na nga rin naman po yung remarks ni Attorney Kapunan doon kasi it's bordering more on mga side remarks, political remarks na. Kaya ako po nasabing side remark na lang yun or political remark because it does not directly attack the issue naman It's more on they are giving conclusions of law pero hindi pa rin nila napakita yung actual misuse naman with those mga statements niya. At sa press conference, ang sinabi rin ni Attorney Kapunan doon ay na-scam, di ba? Na-scam daw po yung taong bayan. So yung mga ganung statements kasi again, those are political statements na nga po kung ako tatanungin kasi it can lead or it can plant sa mind po ng general public na nanonood na dahil ganito ba malaki yung amounts ng safe houses na rental price, tapos merong mga names na nakakatawa like yung si Andy Lim ay na-scam daw po yung taong bayan. But again, hindi po yun proper kasi dapat yung korte po mag-decide kung dahil ba sa mga ganung statements or actions ay nagkaroon talaga ng misuse. Kasi at the end of the day po, just because the names, the aliases used are funny, ay hindi po yun automatic na mapoprove na may actual misuse. Iba pa po yung elements ng misuse from determining whether or not na may COA violations ba talaga. At yun yung more on in-explain ko kahapon. Iba po yung COA side, auditing side from the criminal or misuse side. And alam ko rin naman po na this is an impeachment process, therefore hindi naman kailangan talaga mapakitang may actual krimen na pinakita. Pero tandaan nga natin, meron pa rin kasing quasi-legal side yung impeachment. So we must still follow the rule of law. So yung mga side remarks, political remarks ay hindi po yun proper pag nasa legal proceeding na tayo. Kasi the parties to the case po should not be giving conclusion kasi expected po yun, di ba, na may bias talaga sila kasi tingin nila sila yung tama. And pangalawa, they should also not be lobbying the public para makakuha ng public sympathy. Hindi po ganyan yung proper legal proceedings talaga. Yung mga ganyang style po that is bordering na nga po sa trial by publicity at tinatawag pa nga ng iba na na politika lang talaga itong nangyayari, 'di ba? Kasi ang kailangan naman po talaga mapakita paano ba nagka-misuse. So yan lang po ang dapat lang din ma-take note nyo talaga. Again, this is just a reminder to all of us, yung mga nanonood talaga, na when we watch this legal proceedings, dapat po talaga tanggalin natin as much as possible yung political biases natin, political affiliation. Kasi meron pa rin po talagang batas na dapat masunod, 'di ba? Kasi this is a quasi-legal process, hindi po siya purely political. So kung quasi-legal, sundin lang po talaga yung rule of law at hindi dapat maging trial by publicity at for political propaganda purposes. So kung pansin po ninyo, paulit-ulit din ako sa reminder na yun sa past videos ko, but I really have to reiterate this kasi nasosobrahan na po tayo minsan talaga sa politika as a country. Hindi naman po lahat dapat politika-politika lang. Again, may rule of law, may quasi-legal, so respetuhin din po yun at sundin kasi that is a constitutional mandate po yan. So for the legal theory of the prosecution, etong point talaga nila dito, kaya nila pinapresent yung witness. This is a witness po kasi from COA, di ba? He is a investigator, a COA auditor. So pinapakita lang nila na nag-issue talaga ng notice of disallowance yung COA. Tapos by the manner po na tinatanong ni Attorney Kapunan yung witness ay gusto nila ipakita na meron talagang irregularities na ginawa yung OVP at DepEd dun sa confidential funds. Like dito minention na 2 million daw yung safe house. But again, kahit na po mataas yung presyo, hindi po kasi automatic nga yun na mapapakitang misuse agad yun. Kailangan pa rin mapakita kung paano yung actual misuse. And yung actual pong inexplain dito ng prosecution witness ay sinabi lang niya na under irregular daw yung nangyaring pag-comply dun sa auditing requirements ng OVP. Pero the COA nga po, the notice of disallowance, that is simply for auditing purposes mainly. And then ang next po after mapakita ng prosecution na may notice of disallowance ay kino-correlate nila ngayon dito sa joint circular. So again, this is joint circular number 2015 between the COA, DBM, DILG, GCG, and DND. So ito po, Section 8, Administrative Provision/Penal Sanctions, and more on, ito po yung ina-emphasize talaga nila. Failure of the AO to liquidate any public funds for which he is accountable upon demand by any duly authorized officer shall be prima facie evidence that he has put such missing funds or property to personal use and benefit. So kung makita po ninyo, yung theory nila, may notice of disallowance, therefore hindi na-liquidate ng maayos. So papasok tong presumption na to. So pag pumasok tong presumption na to, even if hindi nila directly mapakita yung actual misuse, ay meron pa rin daw pong presumption na ginamit yung funds na yon for personal use and benefit. Yun yung pinaka legal theory po na nakikita kong gusto talaga i-establish dito at i-point out sa senator judges at sa general public ng prosecution. So ang una ko lang pong mako-comment talaga sa ganung legal theory, yung COA po kasi na notice of disallowance, again, it is for auditing purposes. Hindi po siya to determine whether or not a crime has been committed like corruption or malversation. So ito pong presumption na to, ang nakikita ko lang po talagang legal value dito ay kailangan muna may mag-file ng ibang criminal case, tapos yung notice of disallowance ng COA ay pwede gamitin as evidence para magkaroon ng presumption na nagkaroon nga ng personal use and benefit. But that is nga po for presumption purposes lang. Meaning, pwede pa rin po yan i-refute or basagin ng defense yung presumption na yun. And then, pangalawa po, in the real status of this notice of disallowances ay wala naman pong pending na criminal case na final against VP Sara. So criminally, wala pong any presumption na nag-a-apply talaga in any judicial proceeding. Diba? So ang next question na lang dyan ngayon, pwede ba na itong presumption ay i-apply dito sa impeachment process? So ang sagot po talaga dyan, magiging depende po talaga yan sa senator judges kung i-consider nila na itong presumption na to is sufficient ngayon to constitute as an impeachable offense. So alam naman po talaga natin yun na senator judges yung may final say. Pero yung kailangan lang talaga pag-aralan ng mabuti po ng senator judges ay dapat ba na maging impeachable offense ang isang mere presumption. Diba? So yan yung big question talaga na dapat masagot ng senator judges. Diba? So kung makikita po ninyo, mabigat din po talaga yung at hindi lang sila mag-rely sa mere presumption. Pero of course, we also have to consider din yung side ng prosecution kasi baka wala na rin talaga silang makuhang evidence or witnesses na magpapakita yung actual misuse yung once pag-release na po talaga ng pondo. So pag wala po kasi yun, of course, you have to go to the second best na approach, which is yung ganito na mag-rely on presumptions. So yung pinaka-point lang talaga ni Attorney Powa dito is because of the nature of confidential funds and intelligence funds based po on this COA circular na 1992 ay hindi pwede or hindi basta-basta dapat maglagay ng mga totoong information kasi baka magkaroon ng leak of information which will compromise the safety and security of the operations or the agents na gumagawa ng mga intelligence or confidential operations. And then ang kinounter dito nila Attorney Kapunan ay superseded na daw to siya because of itong 2015 na joint circular. And then yung counter naman po ni Attorney Powa doon is ito yung Section 9 na repealing clause nung joint circular. Ang nakalagay, all circulars, memoranda, rules, regulations, and other issuances inconsistent herewith are deemed repealed accordingly. So ang magandang next i-take note ng senator judges dito is whether or not ito bang joint circular is considered inconsistent dito sa joint circular 15. So yan po yung next na magandang abangan natin dito kung ano kaya yung magiging appreciation ng senator judges, whether or not considered ba as inconsistent itong 1992 na circular na to, therefore hindi na effective. Diba? So yun yung isang interesting development po na nakita ko kasi pag titingnan lang po natin itong 1992 circular ay tama talaga yung laging sinasabi na confidential nga eh. Diba? Yung ganung argument na sinasabi sa general public po sa social media kasi pasok na pasok po siya dito sa explanation dito sa 1992 circular. Okay, so yan lang naman po ang interesting talaga sa cross-examination on top dun sa pinakita ni Attorney Powa na meron din during the time of VPB9 nga ng confidential funds. But again, like what I explained, hindi naman po illegal kahit first time lang yung panahon ni VP. And then kung panoorin nyo po in full itong cross-examination ni Attorney Powa, may mga questions po siya dito sa witness kung saan sinasite po niya yung mga provisions ng joint circular tapos ina-explain niya kung ano yung mga sinubmit nila. Therefore, yung gusto lang talaga niya i-point out, compliant naman daw sila sa auditing practice. But overall po, masabi ko lang side issue nga lang po yung mga ganon kasi hindi naman talaga yung auditing yung main issue dito. Yung main issue po talaga is whether or not nagka-misuse ba, meaning kinurakot po ba talaga ginamit for personal use yung confidential funds at hindi po kasi yung auditing standard lang or auditing practice yung actual issue dito. So yun po talaga yung dapat maintindihan ninyo para hindi po kayo maligaw sa kaso kasi meron po talaga yung pinaka main issue and then usually nagkaka-side issues pa po yan. Overall po ang masasabi ko lang same pa rin po talaga yung status ng case kasi hindi pa naman po napapakita or wala pa pong evidence or witness presented yung prosecution kung paano yung alleged actual misuse of funds. Yung meron pa lang po silang na-present ay yung para lang sa pag-audit, pag-issue ng cheque, and now they are relying pa lang po talaga dun sa presumption, dun sa section 8 ng joint circular. But of course, presumption ay pwede po yan basagin later on via itong cross-examination or even via pag-present po ng defense ng witnesses na nila.
Mr. Wamil, good afternoon po, sir.
Good afternoon po, sir.
Sa pagkaalala ko po, nabanggit niyo po that you were formerly with ICFAO as a state auditor. Tama po ba?
Yes, sir.
And you are a certified public accountant. Tama po ba?
Yes, sir.
You're also a lawyer, correct?
Yes, sir.
You passed the bar in 2022.
2023 po.
2023. Okay, I stand corrected. And Mr. Wamil, you also testified yesterday during your direct examination that you were part of the team that audited the OVP and DepEd confidential funds. Is that correct?
Hindi po team kasi ako lang po yung nag-evaluate ng documents.
Ikaw mismo, basically nag-evaluate ng documents. Tama po ba?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, just so maintindihan lang namin how ICFAO conducts its audit. Yung mga auditors po ba, do they go to the field and observe itong mga confidential operations in person or?
Since what we do po is compliance audit, we base our audit on the documents being submitted to the ICFAO.
Okay. And do you get special training as auditors pagdating sa how confidential or intelligence operations are conducted?
We base po our observations on the provisions naman po ng Joint Circular 2015-01.
Okay. So, basically what you're saying is you base your audit on the documents submitted to you, not just by DepEd or OVP, but by any other government agency. Ganyan sa ICFAO.
Based on the documents if they are compliant with the requirements of the Joint Circular 2015-01.
Correct. Thank you. So, pagdating po dun sa mga dokumento na natatanggap nyo from OVP and DepEd, binabasa nyo po to isa-isa, no? Lahat ng attachments?
Hindi po ako yung nag-receive noon. Meron po kaming receiving staff po.
Pero kayo po, in your evaluation, do you go through the documents one by one?
Yes po. I evaluate po if they are compliant with the requirements of the Joint Circular.
Okay. Now, when you evaluated these documents, nakita niyo po ba doon kung sino ang nag-approve ng grant ng confidential funds for OVP for the fourth quarter of 2022?
Nakita ko po dun sa disbursement voucher po na si Asek Limuel G. Ortonio po.
No, I mean the grant. Kasi wala po sa GAA yung OVP confidential funds for 2022 eh. So nakita niyo po ba kung sino ang nag-approve ng grant para sa fourth quarter 2022 confidential funds?
Based on the documents submitted, si Office of the President po yung nag-approve.
That's correct. Opo, Office of the President. Pagdating naman po sa OVP 2023 confidential funds, yun po ay nasa General Appropriations Act. Do you confirm that?
Yes po.
And pagdating naman po sa DepEd 2023 confidential funds, nasa General Appropriations Act din po. Tama po ba?
Yes po.
And as a lawyer, you would know that the GAA is enacted by Congress. Tama po ba?
That's correct po.
Now, yesterday, naalala ko po, natanong kayo doon sa time nyo sa ICFAO kung ilang vice president ang na-audit nyo pagdating sa confidential funds. Naalala nyo po yon?
Yes po, sir.
At ang sagot nyo po ay isa lang, si Vice President Sara Duterte, the respondent in this case. Tama po ba?
Yes po.
Tapos
Since I
natanong-
assumed in ICFAO in
Since-
2014.
Since you assumed in September 2014?
Yes po, sir.
Tama po. And you were asked, bakit si Vice President lang? Naalala niyo yung tanong na yun?
Yes po.
At ang sagot niyo po, kasi since you assumed siya lang po ang Vice President na nagkaroon ng appropriations for confidential funds. Tama po ba?
Yes po. Since September 2014 po na nag-assume ako.
Apo. Now, I'm showing you a document. If I may approach the witness, Your Honor.
Counsel may approach.
I am showing you a document
Assisting
entitled
counsel from the
Spec-
prosecutors may also
Oh, yes.
approach, should they so desire.
I'm showing you a document, and this document is from the Department of Budget and Management, entitled Special Allotment Release Order, dated. Medyo malabo lang po yung document, no? December 22, 2014. Makita niyo po yan? At ang purpose po is to cover confidential activities for fiscal year 2014. You see that?
Yes, sir.
And nung December 22, 2014, nasa ICFAO na po kayo. Tama po ba?
Anong period po yan, sir?
We have a clear here po. Date of issue, December 22, 2014.
Yes po, nasa ikaw na po.
Tama po ba?
Mm.
At hindi po si Vice President Sara Duterte ang Vice President ng mga panahon na yun. Tama po ba?
Yes po. Pero na-liquidate po ba yan? That's the question.
That's the question to ICFAO actually because yun po yung, ang pinapakita ko lang sa inyo is nagkaroon po ng confidential funds. Ang Office of the Vice President noong 2014 issued December 22, 2014.
Based on that document po,
Meron.
Meron.
You confirm. But that's okay, no? Because maybe you were just not aware yesterday when you were asked the question. I just wanted to put that on record because marami na rin pong lumalabas sa social media na si Vice President Sara Duterte lang ang Vice President na nagkaroon ng confidential funds. But you confirm that, sir. Your Honors, just a manifestation, this has not been pre-marked. We just came upon this document yesterday after the statements were made. So upon the agreement made during pre-trial, we request that this be marked as exhibit for the defense D-1-167-DE. -OVP.
Let it be so marked.
Thank you, Your Honors.
Provisional only, Your Honor.
Yes, of course, subject to the objections of the prosecution when the time is
Of course,
appropriate.
at the proper time.
Thank you, Your Honor. And we will provide the prosecution with a copy as well.
Kindly
Moving
do
on-
that after, perhaps later on, after the trial, or now too, so that it can be made a subject matter of redirect should the counsel for the panel of prosecutors so
malabo.
desire.
I can give you
Photocopy.
just a photo. We would like to manifest that this is just a printout, Your Honor, and a photocopy that we retrieved from the Office of the Vice President.
Noted.
Okay. Ito, bibigyan ba natin to? Hindi, okay, hindi na. Okay. Anyway, Mr. Witness, nung pinag-aaralan ko yung nature ng confidential funds, may mga issuances akong nakita aside from yung JC 2015-01 na parating yung nami-mention kahapon and today. And that is COA Circular 92-985. Yun po ba ay familiar sa inyo?
can you repeat?
I can give you a copy. Your Honor, I am giving the witness a copy of a document entitled Commission on Audit Circular Number 92-385 dated October 21, 1992. For the reference of the court, this was marked as Exhibit D-1-155. Naalala po ba ninyo yung document na yan or familiar po ba kayo sa document na yan? Witness is perusing the document, Your Honors.
Noted.
If assisting counsel would like to also from the prosecution.
Witness will please answer. Are you,
Are you
familiar
familiar?
with that document?
I am not familiar po with that document.
Okay. That's okay. Meron lang po ditong whereas clauses. I won't ask you about the entire document anyway. Meron lang po ditong whereas clauses on the first page. Can you see that, Mr. Witness? Whereas clauses. I would just want you to read the fourth whereas clause. Ito pa. Ma'am, you want to come here so you'd have a better view. Just the fourth whereas clause. Can you please read that out loud for the record?
Attorney Kapunan, it's also flashed on the screen.
Whereas these intelligence and confidential activities by their very nature are highly sensitive and confidential operations or missions, the details of which cannot be divulged without posing a threat to national security or to the success of the mission.
Can you please read the next whereas as well? Thank you.
Whereas, as now being required, the submission of receipts, bills, or commercial invoices in support of disbursements from this fund or rental or of safe houses, purchase of meals or supplies, and other expenses might create a leak of information that may threaten the confidentiality of the intelligence operations, endanger the lives and the safety of the agents and employees of the government agencies, and result to a failure of the mission.
And just the next two whereas clauses na lang po para hindi na po tayo humaba.
Whereas in many instances, it is impractical and sometimes impossible to obtain such receipts, bills, or commercial invoices during intelligence operations. Whereas by its very nature, the use of confidential and/or intelligence and/or confidential funds requires an approach allowing more flexibility in intelligence operations.
Thank you, Mr. Witness.
Manifestation, Your Honor. First of all, this exhibit presented by counsel for the respondent is dated October 1, 1992, Your Honor. Whereas the joint circular
Repealed and superseded accordingly.
So the repealing clause in 2015-1 did not specify COA Circular 92-8985.
Precisely our point, Your Honor.
Your Honor, please counter manifestation.
Of course, Counsel.
Counsel read the literal meaning, Your Honor, but the substantive meaning is all circulars are deemed repealed and superseded accordingly. His interpretation, my interpretation, but no interpretation needed, Your Honor. 9.0 is expressed. All are repealed and superseded accordingly.
Manifestation is duly noted.
I think,
Counsel may
Your Honor,
proceed.
Your Honor, the documents would speak for themselves,
Exactly.
and we will leave this to the Honorable Court, as to not prolong the debate on this matter.
Just again, just my last manifestation on this. The difference, the difference between Joint Circular 2015, Your Honor, it has been identified, authenticated, and testified to by this witness. This circular that they are citing, Your Honor, 1992, has not been identified. We don't know its due existence. We don't know the circumstances surrounding this document. And therefore, they're covered by the original document rule. Produce the original, since you don't have a witness who has testified as to its existence, due execution, and least of all, its contents, Your Honor. And we are stating that this should be clearly in the records of this proceedings, Your Honor.
Noted without prejudice to respondent presenting during their evidence in chief the original copy of the document and someone testifying thereto.
We submit, Your Honor.
Please proceed, Counsel.
Now, dun base po sa binasa nyo, Mr. Witness, nakikita natin na magkaiba ang auditing standards or guidelines pagdating sa confidential or intelligence funds kung ikukumpara sa regular funds. Tama po yun.
Well, based on the Joint Circular 2015-01, magkaiba po yung treatment between confidential fund and intelligence fund.
Opo. At base rin po doon, sa binasa nyo, ang kadalasan nangyayari pag resibo o invoices ay maaring maging impractical kung yun ang ire-require. Tama po ba?
Under the Joint Circular po kasi, the auditors may require the
Your Honor, that's not responsive. I was just asking him to confirm what he read.
Kindly answer the question, witness.
Just on the circular that you read, Circular 92-3.
Can you repeat the question po, sir?
Ayon po doon, yung regular requirement na paghihingi ng mga resibo, acknowledgement receipts, may be impractical pagdating po sa confidential operation.
Can we ask counsel, Your Honor, to show that particular
Yes, Your
provision that he is citing in respect of the circular?
Kindly do so, Counsel.
Tama po ba?
Ang sabi po dito ay during intelligence operations.
Yes, tama po ba?
As stated po dito, during intelligence operations.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I'll accept that answer, Your Honor. Now, punta naman po tayo doon sa nature ng confidential operations. No? You would agree with me na pagdating po sa confidential operations, delikado po pag nagkakaroon ng leak of information. Tama po ba?
Can you repeat your question?
Delikado po kung magkaroon ng leak ng mga information na nakukuha patay sa isang confidential operation. Tama
Given
po
the
ba?
classified nature of...
Misleading, Your Honor.
I'm just asking for his opinion.
The witness would have been able to answer. Witness may answer.
Given the classified nature
Yes.
of the confidential fund.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Witness. In fact, you being a lawyer, you know that there are laws prohibiting the unauthorized disclosure of confidential information, correct?
Can you repeat po?
You being a lawyer, sir, you are aware that there are laws prohibiting the unauthorized disclosure of confidential information, correct?
Can you state what specific laws po yung...
Revised Penal Code under Article 229, for example, on the revelation of secrets.
Yes po.
Yes, Republic Act 3019, Section 3, Paragraph K, on unauthorized divulging of confidential information, correct?
Yes po.
And you being a public officer under 6713, alam niyo rin po na hindi po pwedeng basta-basta mag-disclose without the authority ng mga confidential information. Tama po ba?
Yes po.
Okay, so batay po dito, pinapahalagan po talaga ang confidentiality pagdating sa mga classified information na ito. Tama po ba? You would agree with me?
Yes po.
Yes. Now let's go to the joint circular that we have been mentioning since yesterday. No, ito pong joint circular number 2015-01. And I'm referring to the circular with which we have pre-marked as D-1-136 for the defense, Your Honors. And I think we will be flashing that on the screen as well. Ito naman po yung pag-usapan natin. I just wanted you, Mr. Witness, to give us the definition of confidential funds. Diyan po sa circular na yan, under, I think it's page 2, item 3.7. Can you please read it for the record?
Under 3.7, confidential fund refers to the lump sum amount provided as such in the GAA for NGAs, in appropriation ordinances for LGUs, and in the COBs for GOCCs for their confidential expenses.
Salamat po, Mr. Witness. At pagdating po, nabasa niyo po yung word na lump sum. Ibig po sabihin nito, buong halaga? Buong amount? As opposed to having line items for expense? Tama po ba? Lump sum.
Yes
Lump
po.
sum. Opo. At based on your experience, pag ang pinag-uusapan po natin ay confidential funds, pagdating po sa pag-disburse nito, cash po ba ito? In the form of cash?
What expense are you pertaining?
Confidential funds in general. Cash po ba ito?
Wala pong specific provision kung anong type po ng yung ibabayad.
Okay. But item 6 provides for the guidelines on cash advances, correct?
Based on this document po, yes po.
Yes po. And I refer you now to item 6.1.2. Diyan po, sinasabi po ng provision na yan na ang maaari lang mag-avail ng cash advance pagdating sa confidential funds ay ang isang designated bonded special disbursing officer or SDO, or kung wala mang ganong designated SDO ay ang head of agency, correct?
Yes po.
At kanina po, sabi nyo, binasa nyo bawat pahina noong mga sinabite sa inyo ng DepEd at OVP for their liquidation reports. Tama po ba?
Yes po.
At you would be aware na ang STO po para po sa OVP ay si Ms. Gina Acosta. Tama po ba?
Based on the documents submitted, yes po.
Yes, thank you. At pagdating naman po sa DepEd, Mr. Witness, ang SDO po ay si Mr. Edward Fajarda. Tama po ba?
Based on the documents submitted po, yes po.
Yes. So based on that,
Tama rin po ba na sila ang maging payees ng mga cheque na inilabas ng DepEd para sa cash advance?
Yes po.
Tama po. At sila, tama rin po na silang nag-encash ng mga cheque dahil silang payee. Tama
Yes
po.
Yes po.
Yes. So they complied with 6.1.2, correct?
What do you mean complied po?
Complied with the requirements of 6.1.2 na ang SDO po ang kumuha ng cash advance at siya po nag-encash ng cheque.
Your Honor, please misleading. That's not the only requirement in 6.1.1. 6.1.2, Your Honor. There are other requirements here. Can counsel be specific?
I'm just asking,
Because-
Your Honor.
This is a blanket, he is saying, and so therefore, there is compliance here.
I'm
In
asking.
particular.
Thank you. I appreciate po
What does
the.
counsel for respondent say?
I appreciate naman po the objection of the good counsel. So I will be more specific. Tama po, nag-comply po na ang SDO ang payee sa cheque at ang SDO po ang nag-encash. Yun lang po. Just on that part.
Based on the documents, si SDO yung pay ng cheque and yung nag-encash nung
Okay. Thank you po. Now, I'll refer you to item 6.1.5 of the joint circular. Can you please read just the first sentence of that provision?
cash advances shall be limited to the requirements for 3 months.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. So tama po ba ang pagkakaintindi ko na para sa cash advance at any one time, ang maximum na pwede mo lang ma-cash advance ay yung requirements mo para sa 3 buwan ng confidential operations. Tama
Based
po ba?
on this provision po, yes.
Tama po. At 3 buwan po is equivalent to 1/4 of a year. Tama po ba?
Yes po.
Okay. Now, base po dyan sa provision na yan, nakasulat na ang maximum amount ay para sa 3 buwan. Pero meron po bang provision dyan na nagbabawal na gamitin ito in perhaps 60 days?
Wala po.
Meron po bang nagbabawal na gamitin ito in 11 days?
Wala din po. Kaya hindi po namin sinama sa findings namin yung 11 days na disbursement. It's just a statement of fact po on the AOM.
Thank you for confirming that, Mr. Witness. Familiar po kayo bilang isang CPA sa accrual method of accounting?
Yes po.
Can you just, in simple terms, because I'm not even a CPA, just give us a glimpse kung ano ibig sabihin. Ano ba ang accrual method of accounting?
Kapag sinabing accrual method of accounting, yung expenses ay ni-record upon incurrence, not upon payment.
Opo. Okay. So, dito po ba, pwede po ba yung parang I'm just a simple-minded person? Parang buy now, pay later? Ganon?
Wala po yan sa joint circular, so I am not authorized to
It's okay.
answer that question.
I will leave it at that. Punta na lang po tayo sa liquidation. Sa liquidation po, under the joint circular, that's under 6.2.2, correct? Under 6.2.2, if I may just refer you to that provision, dapat po maliquidate magsumite ng liquidation report ang isang agency na may confidential or intelligence funds within 30 days after the close of a quarter. Tama po ba?
3 po yung nakalagay dito, hindi lang po at the 30 days after every quarter.
Sige po, please enumerate for us.
Under 6.2.2 of the joint circular, all cash advances for CF and IF shall be liquidated within 30 days after every quarter or from the approved target date of completion of the project or activity or after the cash advance had been fully utilized, whichever comes first in accordance with the procedures as stated po.
Okay, thank you po. Ngayon po, papakita ko po sa inyo yung liquidation report na isinumite ng OVP for their 4th quarter confidential funds 2022. Maybe this time we could just ask our assisting counsel, Your Honor, to hand the document.
Assisting counsel for the other side may also
Prosecution.
approach.
Maaari niyo po bang matukoy kung anong date po na-receive ng COA ICFAO itong liquidation report ng OVP?
Based on the transmittal letter po, January 17, 2023.
January
Maybe
17.
Your Honor, for our understanding, what exhibit number?
Sorry.
counsel
Thank you for
referring to?
reminding me, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
This is Exhibit D-1-4-OVP.
This is the prosecution's
Ay titingnan yung checklist and then titingnan din, susuriin yung mga naka-attach na dokumento kung compliant siya dun sa checklist. Tama po ba?
Yes po, based on the joint circular.
Based on that same provision, kung yun po ay kompleto, tatanggapin po ng COA ICFAO. Tama po ba?
Yes po.
At pag hindi po kompleto o meaning kulang po yung mga attached documents, yun po ay dapat ibalik ng COA ICFAO sa ahensya at hindi muna tatanggapin. Tama po ba?
Yes po. Based
And
on
in-
this provision po.
Opo. And in this case, because of the receiving stamp, would you say na tinanggap po ng ICFAO ang submission ng OVP?
As stamp po nung ICFAO, yes po.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Witness. Now, basing on this document na natanggap ng COA ICFAO on January 17, 2023, ang kanilang liquidation report, meaning the OVP for the fourth quarter 2022 confidential funds. It took more or less 8 months for COA to issue its official finding. Tama po ba?
Yes po.
I am showing you a copy of the AOMs that you issued and that were also presented yesterday.
May we know the exhibit number, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. I will get to that. Ready mo na yung mga next documents.
Are you showing the one for the OVP or the DepEd?
OVP, Your Honor.
OVP, that would be...
This is D-1-103-OVP, Your Honor, for the first AOM issued on September 14, 2023.
That's the counterpart of P-1-12-A.
And isunod ko na po yung pangalawang AOM na na-issue on October 3, 2023. This is D-1-104-OVP for the defense.
Which is P-1-12-B for the prosecution.
Opo. Thank you. Now, Mr. Witness, napansin ko na yung date is September 14, nung 2023, nung una yung AOM. Tama po ba?
Yes po.
And that was actually just a few days after the budget hearing of COA held August 24, 2023, kung saan may mga legislators that, asked COA to look into the OVP confidential funds. Are you aware of that? Just if you're aware.
I am not aware of that.
That's okay. Now, I'll just move on to the AOMs themselves, no? Now, kahapon nasasabi niyo po na nagkakaproblema tayo sa may nakita kayong finding doon sa physical and financial plan. Tama po ba?
Yes sir.
Ng OVP. At yan po ay nakasaad din sa inyong findings diyan.
Yes sir.
Tama po ba?
Opo.
You referred to, if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me if I'm wrong, item 4.2 of the joint circular.
Yes sir.
Tama po?
Yes sir.
Maaari niyo po bang, andyan pa po ba yung joint circular? Yes. Maaari niyo po bang basahin yung 4.2 ng joint circular para lang po sa kalaman nating lahat?
Under 4.2 of the joint circular, all allocations of CF and or IF shall be supported with physical and financial plan indicating the proposed amount allocated for each program, project, and activity where disbursements pertaining to the CE and IE shall be based.
Tama po. Thank you po, Mr. Witness. Dito po sa kanilang physical and financial plan, the program stated is actually the Good Government Program. Tama po ba? Yung binabasa ko lang.
Based on the document, yes.
Based on the document. At ang expected outcome ay safe implementation of OVP initiatives and confidence building. Based on the document.
Based on the document, yes.
At ang physical target will be number of areas with surveillance and confidential activities conducted or monitored. Tama po ba?
Yes.
As well as the number of activities. Tama po ba? At ayon po dun sa binasa nyo, wala naman pong guidelines on how specific it would be. Correct?
Well, nakalagay po kasi dito, dapat i-indicate yung each program, activity, and project na pagbabasihan ng disbursement ng CF.
Apo. I won't argue with you. So basically, yung finding niyo po is based on your assessment as an auditor.
Or since it is a plan, dapat po naka-indicate talaga dito kung paano nila gagastusin yung kanilang confidential fund.
That's okay. Yes, I'll accept that answer. Now, nabanggit nyo rin po na hindi po nag-submit ng DEPs or document evidencing payment. Tama po?
Yes, sir.
At yun po ay inilagay nyo sa inyong AOM. Tama
Yes,
po?
yes, sir.
At nabanggit nyo rin po na sumagot ang OVP dito sa AOM na to. Tama po ba?
Yes, sir. Opo.
Tama po. At pagdating po doon sa sunod na step, which is the notice of suspension, tama po ba?
Yes, sir.
Would you agree with me
Section.
na hindi na po na-carry over yung issue doon sa fiscal and financial plan?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, ibig sabihin, tinanggap niyo po yung explanation.
Well, ang purpose po kasi namin kung bakit namin ni-require yung specific confidential activities dun sa PFP is para makita kung paano gagastusin noong OBP yung kanilang confidential fund. Pero since nilagay naman na po nila dun sa kanilang revised accomplishment report yung specific confidential activities and even submitted the documentary evidence of payment. So, hindi na po namin hinanap ulit yung fiscal and financial plan.
Okay. Salamat po. Thank you for that answer. Ngayon po, kasi kanina, kahapon actually, not kanina, sinasabi nyo walang sinubmit. Ang ibig nyo lang pong sabihin sa walang sinubmit is at the time na bago kayo mag-issue ng AOM. Tama po ba?
Walang sinamit po na ano.
Walang sinubmit na DEPs, for example.
Yes po, kasi sinamit po nila yung DEPs after we issued both AOMs po.
Opo. Thank you po. Ngayon, punta naman po tayo doon sa notice of suspension. Nandun pa po kayo di ba, ng notice of suspension?
Yes, sir.
And you suspended in audit the amount of 125 million. We are showing him a copy of the notice of suspension, Your Honor. This is Exhibit D-1-107-OVP for the reference of the Honorable Court.
NP-1-13-A on the part of the prosecution.
Okay. So, dito po, as you mentioned earlier, you were satisfied with already the submission of the accomplishment report ng OVP. That's why nawala na po yung issue sa physical and financial.
Hindi po ako satisfied dahil compliant yung accomplishment report nila, kundi dahil nilagay lang nila yung specific confidential activities na pinagamitan ng kanilang pondo.
Opo. So, nawala na po yung sa PFP na finding sa AOM.
Based on yes po.
Based on the NS. Tama po ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Ngayon, pagdating dito sa notice of suspension, I just wanted to focus on doon sa documentary evidencing success pagdating sa rewards.
Yes, sir.
Nabanggit nyo po, this is 4.8.5 paragraph B specifically of the joint circular, correct?
Yes, sir.
And yun din po yung nakasaad dito sa notice of suspension na reference, meaning the provision of the JC.
Yes, sir.
Specified. Yes. At nabanggit nyo rin po kahapon na wala pong guidelines specifically under 4.8.5 that shows how specific you should be in terms of the documents evidencing success. Tama
Wala
po ba?
po akong na-mention na walang specific guidelines po. Ang sabi ko lang, hindi sinabi kung anong specific document yung hinihingi.
May sinabi ko po kayong walang prescribed format, basically.
Your Honor, please misleading the witness, to my recollection, did not say that. He said that in accordance with 4.8.5, these are the requirements, A, B, and C. And the submissions of the Vice President and the DepEd are not compliant, Your Honor.
Can we
With
ask
the
for
indulgence
a
of
readback?
counsels for the parties, Mr. Wamil, base po sa guidelines, hindi tulad ng ibang mga format na sinasubmit na may pro forma na nasa annex nung 2015-1, wala pong pro forma na pag-liquidate sang-ayon sa na dokumento sang-ayon sa 4.8.5.
Yes, Your Honor, based on this provision po.
Yes.
May ibang provision bang nagre-require ng specific na paraan?
Wala na po, Your Honor. Ito lang
Wala.
po,
Okay.
4.8.5.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Witness.
You may proceed, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now,
Pagdating po sa OVP, alam niyo po ba kung sumagot sila sa notice of suspension na ito within the prescribed period given under the notice of suspension?
Sa notice, wala na po ako sa ICFO nung
Wala na po
submit
kayo.
sila ng response.
Okay po. So I will no longer ask you about that. Probably for another witness na lang po. Punta na lang po tayo sa OVP confidential funds for 2023. You confirm, Mr. Witness, na ang OVP confidential funds for 2023 ay nakapag-issue rin kayo ng AOMs for the first, second, and third quarter. Tama po ba?
For the first and second lang po, kasi yung third quarter, nag-drop po ako and hindi ko na po naabutan yung issuance noon dahil nag-transfer out na po ako sa
Okay.
ICFO.
Okay. At hindi na rin po alam kung, just if you're aware, kung sumagot ang OVP doon sa mga AOMs ninyo. Hindi na rin po alam yan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sige. Diretso na lang po tayo sa DepEd. Para hindi na po tayo tumagal. Sa DepEd po, nakapag-issue rin po kayo ng AOMs. Tama? At least for the first and second quarter nung nandun pa po kayo.
Yes, sir. Apo.
Tama po.
Apo.
And kanina po, pinag-uusapan po natin yung mga disbursement vouchers ng DepEd. Kung saan natukoy nyo doon na hindi compliant dahil MOOE yung nakasulat sa disbursement vouchers. Tama po ba? Naalala nyo po yun?
Sinagot ko lang po yung tanong ni Attorney Lorna kanina.
At ang tanong nyo, ang sagot nyo po, natatandaan nyo po ba yung sagot nyo? Ay MOOE siya at hindi confidential funds.
Yes po.
Now, Mr. Witness, I will show you a page of the General Appropriations Act.
Can I have that copy? And for reference, Your Honors, this is Exhibit D-1-14-DE, Your Honors. And D-1-42-DE for the defense.
Counsel may approach the witness as well as counsel for the panel of prosecutors.
Ito lang, ma'am. Titignan ko. So, dito po, sa page 376, volume 118, number 52, ng General Appropriations Act FY 2023, klarong-klaro po na ang confidential, intelligence, and extraordinary expenses is under maintenance and other operating expenses, which is the MOOE.
Pero if I may clarify lang po kasi,
Yes po.
yung MOOE kasi is very broad. So
Yes
hindi
po.
lang confidential fund yung covered niya.
Apo, we will get to that, Your Honor.
Your Honor, please.
DB. Saan nakasulat? Apo. Thank you. Kaya po dito, sa ating naging disbursement
Your
voucher,
Honor, with due respect to counsel.
yes, of
With
course.
permission of
Manifestation
Attorney
again in the
Poa, yes.
document. Again, this
Observations
document,
and manifestations, counsel?
Your Honor, this document violates the original document rule. First, it is a photocopy. It is not even a photocopy of anything that is certified, Your Honor. Although, under the original document rule, you can dispense with the presentation of the original. If you present the original first and then substitute a copy, because a copy, a photocopy, is now considered likewise, if properly authenticated, as an original. This is a scrap of paper, Your Honor. We don't even know. General Appropriations Act. Of who? Of which administration? And consisting of how many pages, Your Honor?
Saan?
This particular document, Your Honor, should not even be testified to because we don't know its provenance. For all we know, we don't know where this document came from.
Your Honors, may I
We
comment?
object, therefore, to this
May
document.
we
Your
comment?
Honor.
What is the comment of Attorney Poa?
Your Honors, the copy we are showing is actually a certified true copy of the Commission on Audit, certified by Davin E. Bakay. Your Honors.
certified true copy of the part of the GAA?
Yes, Your Honors.
Anyway, Counsel, we will be ruling on the admissibility of these documents when the formal offer is made after the presentation of evidence in chief by the respondents.
We submit, Your Honor, but as another observation, Your Honor, we are aware, I think counsel is aware, that if you produce and you ask questions on a portion of a document, then you are compelled to produce the whole document, Your Honor. We want this on file. Produce the whole GAA. For all we know, Your Honor, there may be provisions in that GAA which contradicts the provision he's saying. So he is compelled under the rules, Your Honor. In addition to the rules of admissibility, he is compelled to produce the whole GAA. And we want that on record, Your Honor.
Presiding officer has already ruled the manifestation and objection of the counsel is duly noted. Counsel may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. And under the disbursement voucher, Exhibit D-1-58-DE, nakasulat po na MOOE, replenishment of cash advance under maintenance and other operating expenses authorized under page 376 of RA number 11936, which is precisely the page of the GAA.
Pero marami po kasing nakalagay na expense items under MOOE in this page po.
Okay, we will accept that answer, Mr. Witness. Now, Mr. Witness, pagdating po sa DepEd,
Confidential funds, as you mentioned, you issued the first two AOMs.
Yes, sir.
Tama po. I mean, AOM for the first and second quarter. Rather.
Yes, sir.
Pero hindi nyo na po natanggap yung response.
Hindi
Kasi
na-
wala na kayo sa ICFAO.
Yes, sir.
But would you know, just curious, would you know kung ano yung present status nitong mga AOMs na to?
Hindi po. I don't have personal knowledge about that.
Okay. So you wouldn't know of whether may credit notice o wala.
Yes, sir.
Oh, but since you're an auditor, ano po ang ibig sabihin ng credit notice para sa isang auditor?
Kapag sinabing credit notice, yung documents submitted ay already passed in audit na po.
Opo, pass in audit, meaning allowed?
Yes po.
Allowed in
But subject to the reopening of the audit later
Apa.
on po.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Witness. Ngayon, Mr. Witness, since hanggang doon lang naman, no, yung naging saklaw talaga ng inyong service, I don't want to prolong this any longer. Gusto ko lang makita, based on your findings, AOM, di ba? Tapos yung notice of suspension para sa OVP and the AOMs for DepEd. These are preliminary findings, correct?
Yes po, kasi nai-require pa naman sa agency na mag-justify yung findings and submit the documents being sought po dun sa...
Opo. At based po dito sa findings ninyo, wala namang pong expressly nakasulat na may misappropriation at this point.
Actually, yung presumption of misuse kasi nasa item 8.3 na kapag hindi nag-liquidate or failure of liquidation of the accountable officers upon due demand shall be a prima facie evidence that such fund has been put to
I am-
personal benefit or misuse.
Yes. But I am just asking for the response na meron po bang expressly nakasulat sa mga findings ninyo?
Ask and answer, Your Honor. It is in
That is a
8.3.
presumption po. So hindi
Opo.
kailangan isabihin.
May expressly po ba na nakasulat na may ni isang kusing na napunta sa bulsa ng Vice Presidente?
Ask and answer, Your Honor. Wait, don't answer. Uy. That question, Your Honor, has been asked and answered.
We ask for
Sustain-
ruling, Your Honor.
Sustained counsel, I think where you're getting at, modify your question. You can get it.
Okay. So, basically po, ang findings nyo ay preliminary lamang. Wala pong any conclusive finding pa as to any misappropriation. Yun lang po ang tanong ko.
Ang sabi kasi sa circular, upon failure to liquidate,
No,
meron
I
ng
am
presumption.
Your Honor,
Ask and answer, Your Honor.
No,
He
the
already
witness-
said,
asking if it's...
The witness is not responsive. Kindly respond. I think the question is quite simple,
Yun lang naman
Mr.
po.
Wamil.
Preliminary pa lang. So wala pang any conclusive finding as to any misappropriation. Yun na lang po. Para lang po masagot nyo na ng diretso.
Hindi naman po kasi kailangang i-state doon sa findings.
Again, Your Honor, non-responsive.
Let the presiding officer be the one to do it, or try to do it. Kapag ka nag-issue po kayo ng AOM, Audit Observation Memorandum, failure to liquidate na po ba yun? O may mga observation pa lang kayo? Kailan masasabing may failure to liquidate na? No? Pag may notice of disallowance na, notice of suspension, o AUM pa lang?
Nakalagay po kasi sa Joint Circular, Your Honor, under 8.3, failure to liquidate by the accountable officer upon due demand shall be a prima facie evidence.
Opo, again, Mr. Wamila, yung pag-issue niyo po ba ng AUM, pasok na sa failure to liquidate upon due demand o hindi pa po?
Hindi pa po sa AOM, Your Honor.
Kasi wala pong due demand sa AUM.
Yes po.
At may sasabi mo rin bang wala pang failure to liquidate? O meron na?
Pag sa AOM po wala, pero pag sa NS po, since meron ng first issuance which is considered as demand, so meron na po sa NS.
So,
As per
AUM
siya.
wala pa. Pag NS, meron
Meron
ng meron ng demand at
Opo.
meron ng failure to liquidate.
Opo, since sa AOM po, nire-require na silang i-justify and i-submit yung mga documents na hindi nila na-submit.
Pero sa AUM, wala pa nga ganun.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay. Counsel, your witness.
Thank you. And lastly, gusto ko lang to ma-clarify. Of course, the witness was a state auditor of the ICFAO. So recommendatory lang po ang function ninyo. Hindi po kayo nagde-decide pagdating sa, lalong-lalo na pagdating sa notice of disallowance. Tama po ba?
Yes po. It's the function of the commission proper.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wamil, Attorney Wamil. I thank you for your patience. That is all for this witness, Your Honor.
Thank
Unless
you,
there's anything else.
counsel for respondent. Redirect, if any, counsel for the panel of prosecutors.
Yes, Your Honor, with your permission.
Counsel may proceed
Few
with her
questions
redirect.
on the redirect. Mr. Witness, tinanong sa'yo ng counsel for the respondent kung meron kang special training para mag-audit ng confidential funds. Kailangan ba ng special training para mag-audit ng confidential funds?
No, ma'am.
Hindi.
Hindi po.
Okay. At ang basehan mo, sinabi mo, when you answered is, ang basehan mo ay itong joint circular.
Yes.
Okay. Now, tinanong sa'yo ng counsel kung alam mo na ang Office of the President ang siyang nagbigay ng grant.
Can
Tama?
you repeat
At
your
ang sagot mo? Oo.
Can you repeat the question po?
No, you answered on cross on the question of counsel for the respondent if you are aware that the grant was given to the Vice President by the President.
Yes po.
And you answered yes.
Yes po.
Okay. Pag binigay ba ng presidente, like in this instance, ang confidential funds, wala nang obligasyon mag-liquidate ang Vice President ng paggamit niya sa confidential funds na yan.
Meron po.
Meron
po
pa
siyang
rin
obligation to liquidate.
obligasyon. Pag-grant ba ng Office of the President, exempted na ang Vice President na mag-submit ng
Your
mga
Honors,
dokumento.
Your Honors,
Counsel for respondent.
that is leading.
Redirect, Your Honor. This counsel opened
Not
the door.
covered by cross, even, Your Honor. Yung
Your Honor,
exemption.
counsel opened the door. Counsel opened the door to this line of questioning because he said a grant was given by the President.
Objection is overruled. Witness may answer if he knows. Kung alam mo, Mr. Wamil, pakisagot po yung tanong ni Attorney Kapunan.
Can you repeat the question, ma'am?
Ang grant ba ng ang grant ba ng confidential funds ng isang presidente to a vice president, this president in particular, to the vice president, does it exempt the vice president for accounting for the use of that confidential funds under your joint circular?
No po.
Okay. So kailangan pa rin, sinasabi mo, na compliant, mag-comply.
Yes. Opo, kailangan
Hindi
pa rin.
lang ang Office of the President. Kung binigyan rin ng grant ang Department Secretary of Education, kailangan rin.
Yes, ma'am.
Bakit? Ano ba ang nature ng pondo na yan? Pera ba yan ng Presidente?
Since ang confidential fund po ay public fund, so kailangan pong ma-properly account. So kailangan nilang i-liquidate properly and completely yung kanilang cash advances from the confidential fund.
So ang sinasabi mo, at nasa rationality ng joint circular. Section 1, public funds, public accountability, public officer. Tama?
Opo.
Okay, walang exemption. Hindi exempted si Sara Duterte para mag-account.
Yes, ma'am.
Sinabi rin, counsel for the Vice President also said, the Vice President also said, tinanong ka tungkol sa ano ba yung accrual method of accounting. Pakiulit, ano yung accrual method?
So under the accrual method po, the expenses is recorded upon incurrence and not upon payment po.
Okay. Allowed ba itong accrual method of accounting sa pag-evaluate ng confidential funds?
No, ma'am, kasi kailangan po talagang binayaran yung expenses po.
Okay. So hindi pwedeng accrual, parang lista.
Opo,
Tama?
hindi po pwedeng lista.
Hindi pwedeng lista-lista. Kung binayaran, dapat cash out.
Yes, ma'am.
Tama? At
Opo.
kung cash out, dapat may resibo. Tama?
Yes, ma'am. Opo.
So, hindi pwede ang accrual. Mr. Witness, okay, tinanong rin sa'yo, itong utilization of confidential funds. Nakalagay, utilization of confidential funds. Tinanong sa'yo ng counsel, hindi ba dapat confidential rin? Do not divulge information on the use of confidential funds. Tama ba ang interpretation ng counsel for the respondent?
Hindi
Your
po.
Honor, that was not my interpretation. I was merely asking based on the memo, the COA circular that he read, Your Honor.
Okay.
Just that, just on that matter.
Okay,
Noted.
based-
Witness may answer.
Can you repeat the question, ma'am?
Ang tanong, okay, sabi ng counsel, confidential funds yan. Bawal ang mag-reveal ng confidential information, citing certain provision in the revised penal code, certain guidelines, which we haven't seen. Pag confidential funds ba, lahat ng information na hinihingi sa inyo, kagaya ng sang ginastos, yung milyon-milyon na yan sa medicine, oy, bawal yan. Confidential yan. Pwede ba yan, Mr. Witness?
Hindi po. Since ang confidential fund po ay public fund, so dapat po ay properly accounted po ito. And since ang involved po ay confidential fund, so it must follow the strict accounting and auditing guidelines po to prevent misuse.
Confidential ba yung, uy, bawal mo sabihin, sang grocery binili.
As an
Yung
answered, Your
pagkain na
Honor.
yan.
As an answered.
Asked and answered.
Food, Your Honor. And
As
all
an
the
answer,
items
Your
there. Lahat ng items na sinabi natin. Food, medicine,
As an
transport.
answered, Your Honor. I asked for a ruling.
Your Honor, please, I only asked for the medicine. I know I'm itemizing because
Asked and answered previously, counsel. Counsel for respondent is correct.
Okay.
Kindly move on to the next point.
now, sinabi sa'yo na dapat, since this is accountable, strict, sinabi mo na ang pagka-interpret ng joint circular na yan, nandito sa dapat strict, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Because public funds ito.
Opo.
Pag sinabi bang strict interpretation, and I will quote, strict accounting, the utilization of such funds is generally confidential and classified by nature, which requires not only strong internal controls. Tama?
Yes po.
Nakita ba natin sa mga dokumento na sinubmit ng Presidente, ng Vice President at ng Secretary of DepEd, nakita ba natin yung mga internal controls?
Hindi po.
Bakit?
Kasi
Your
since may
Honor,
mga...
the witness is incompetent to answer because he only based his audit on the documents provided. He has no knowledge on the internal controls of the Department of Education or the Office of Vice President, Your Honor.
Your Honor, internal
If the witness
controls.
knows based on his observation of the documents submitted to him only insofar as that is concerned, Mr. Wamel, you may answer.
Since based on the documents po, may mga deficiencies pa rin po na noted. So, it can be inferred na hindi strong yung kanilang internal control.
Okay. Anong mga deficiencies na na-notice mo?
Yung kanilang mga documents, some of the documents ay hindi compliant dun sa requirements ng Joint Circular 2015-01.
Acknowledgement receipts na walang
Acknowledgement
dates?
receipts, yes po, walang date. Yung iba nakadate ng 2023 even if the period covered ay 2022.
Liquidating documents para sa submitted 2023 para sa period 2022. May internal control ba yan?
Actually, yung nasubmit naman po nila on time yung kanilang liquidation report.
Mga acknowledgement receipts na walang signatures.
Yes, ma'am.
Internal control ba yun?
That should have been prevented by a strong internal control po.
Nakalagay rin dito, in this section. Strict auditing rules to prevent mishandling and improper application of the funds. So, sinabi mo na dapat strict ang compliance. Ikaw pa, as a state auditor, meron ka bang discretion sa pag-apply ng rules na to?
Can you repeat the question po?
Okay. You said that the basis for your evaluation are the express provisions of these rules.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you exercise any discretion?
We exercise po professional judgments. Just kailangan po namin i-evaluate if yung documents ay compliant dun sa requirements.
Okay. Professional judgment.
Yes, ma'am.
But is this judgment based on personal opinion?
Hindi po.
Is this judgment based on, ayoko yung mukha nitong officer na to? Bias. Is it based on
Hindi po.
bias?
Hindi
What
po.
is it based on? Your professional judgment is based on what?
Professional judgment is based on the experience and the applicable laws, rules, and regulations po.
Okay. Council also mentioned 3.9, which is confidential expenses.
I don't think I mentioned that, Your Honor.
Okay. Then I will mention it.
Not subject of the cross, Your Honor.
Are you referring to the JMC Council?
Your Honor, please, accounting, this council asked on how confidential expenses or funds are being accounted for. This is germane to the questions on cross.
No, my question, Council, is what 3.9 are you referring to? 3.9 of what?
3.9 of the joint circular, Your Honor.
Is there one?
It's a confidential expenses, which says it refers to those expenses pertaining related to surveillance activities, etc., Your Honor.
Your Honor,
On page 3.
beyond the scope of the cross, Your Honor.
Your Honor, please. He opened the door. He says
what door did I
confidential
open,
funds. He says confidential funds do not disclose information.
Your Honor, please, we have to put a limit to at least, apply what is in the rules of court suppletorily, Your Honor.
Subject to the discretion of the court, the redirect and cover matters not covered by the cross. The same is true with the recross counsel later on.
We submit, Your Honor.
It's,
Counsel may proceed with her question. Witness may answer.
okay. In confidential expenses 3.9, nakalagay dito, in your evaluation of confidential or liquidation of confidential funds or confidential expenses, nakalagay dito, are intended to support the mandate or operations of the agency, Mr. Witness.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, nasa mandato ba ng Office ng Vice President ang magkaroon ng confidential funds?
Calls for an opinion, Your Honor, that the witness is not qualified to answer.
It's competent, Your Honor. He knows what are allowed, what are not allowed.
Objection.
Witness is not an expert on the
Objection is
mandate.
sustained. Witness is not competent to answer whether or not it is part of the OVP's function, much less a DepEd, to have confidential funds. That he did not see any confidential funds when he was with COA ICFAO does not mean that it is allowed or not allowed. Kindly move on to your next point, Counsel, please.
You also mentioned that you were asked about 4.2, correct, Mr.
Yes, Your
Witness?
I confirm that.
And in 4.2, it says there, shall be supported with physical and financial plan, indicating the proposed amount allocated for each program, activity, and project.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ito ba ang sinabi ng council pinakita naman sa iyo yung dokumento. Bakit hindi mo why are you saying that there is no indication of what these projects are, what the disbursements pertain to, and what the confidential expense is based on? Why did you say that there is no?
Dahil hindi po naka-indicate dun sa kanilang physical and financial plan yung specific confidential activities.
Hindi pa pwede ang substantial compliance dyan?
Kasi ang requirement po ng joint circular ay strict compliance.
Strict, hindi substantial. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, in 4.8.5, okay, Council makes mention in his cross that sa Office of the Vice President, ang SDO, Senior Disbursing Officer, Special, SDO IC Acosta, tama?
Sa OBP, yes, ma'am.
Okay. At sa DepEd, ay ang SDO IC Fajarda, tama?
Yes, ma'am.
At tama daw, sabi ng council na tama lang talaga na sila yung payees,
Yes, ma'am.
implying na silang tumanggap.
Yes, ma'am.
Implying na, ito ba, pag silang tumanggap, sila lang nakakaalam?
Hindi po.
Hindi.
Opo. Kasi based on
Bakit?
the joint circular, si head of the agency po yung may responsibility to oversee the agency-wide use of the confidential fund and to ensure compliance with the requirements of the joint circular.
Sino ang boss? Sino ang head of agency ng Office of the Vice President?
Si Vice President Sara Duterte po.
Okay. At nakalagay dito sa Senate na provision 4.8.5, nakalagay, as among the requirements, approval by the head of agency. Tama?
Yes, ma'am.
Ito. At nakita naman natin sa mga documents na present natin, lahat may approval ng head of agency si Sara Duterte. Tama?
Yung accomplishment report, yes, ma'am.
Sa accomplishment report. Hindi lang sa OVP, sa DepEd.
Yes,
Meron nakalagay, approved, attested, certified, correct? Sino?
Even
ang
yung
nag-certify.
certification po nung accountable officer on the utilization of the confidential funds of both the OBP and DepEd ay attested po ni Vice President.
So even if council says the SDO is Acosta for the OVP and the SDO for the DepEd is Fajarda, still the head of the agency, who in all the documents we have seen, signed, attested, approved, certified, is Sara Duterte as Vice President and as Secretary of the DepEd, correct?
Based on the documents, yes, ma'am.
Okay. On 8.3, tinanong sa'yo, conclusive ba? 8.3, you mentioned prima facie findings. Tinanong sa'yo, is this conclusive?
Hindi po. It's prima facie po.
Pero miski na prima facie findings, meron bang presumption? Is there a presumption of innocency? Is there a presumption of guilt? As a matter of fact, expressly says, there is a presumption of misuse and that it is used for personal benefit. Tama?
Based on this provision po, yes, ma'am.
And so far, unless proven otherwise, that presumption still holds. She is presumed to have misused or to have used it for personal benefit, Mr. Witness, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Based on 8.3. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions, Your Honor. Meron pa daw.
Counsel Recross.
Recross just 2 points, Your Honor. Just two
Counsel
quick
for
points. I don't
respondent
want
may
to
proceed.
prolong this. Unang-una sa lahat po, ukol po doon sa acknowledgement receipts. Pagdating po sa mga undated na nabanggit nyo naman at nasa report nyo naman, you would confirm na sumagot ang OVP pero hindi na niya inabutan ang sagot or meaning hindi niya na alam kung sumagot man ng OVP doon sa notice of suspension.
Yes po, hindi ko naman naabutan yung
So probably for another witness. Ngayon dun sa unang sinabi po ng kagalang-galang na si Attorney Kapunan sa pagiging exempt, ni minsan ba humingi ang exemption sa inyo ang Vice Presidente sa audit ng kanyang confidential funds?
Ang humingi po ng, actually, meron nag-request po na kung pwedeng audit query na lang
Opo.
yung i-issue instead of
Opo.
AOM. So,
But hindi
parang
po
exception
exemption.
po yun dun sa provision ng Joint Circular na AOM yung i-issue.
Ang exemption po yung tinatanong ko. Just an exemption on the audit itself. The conduct of the audit, meaning nag-submit po ba sila ng liquidation reports?
Yes po.
Nag-responde po ba sila sa AOM nyo?
Yes po, pero hindi pa rin po sila compliant dun sa requirements.
No, Your Honor, I'm not asking that. I'm just asking for nag-submit ba sila? Did they respond to your AOMs?
Not
Nag-submit pero
covered
hindi
by
po
the
full
Director,
yung
Honor.
submission.
So they did not ignore your AOMs. At
Pero
least
hindi
kasi
pa rin po
AOM lang.
full submission yung ginawa nila.
The
Your Honor, not
question,
responsive. The witness
Mr.
is,
Wamil, is did they submit a response? Whatever your evaluation of the response, complete or incomplete, is another matter.
Yes po, Your Honor. They submitted the response po dun sa AOM.
So they
That's all.
submitted a response.
That is all for recross, Your Honor. Again, Mr. Witness, thank you for your patience. Thank you. Papasalamat.
With the
din ako.
permission of our colleagues, it's 2:30 and session was called by the Senate President to be convened at 3 p.m. May we continue with our interjections for this witness tomorrow? And I have listed already those who would like to make interjections. In this order, Senator Tulfo, Rafi, Senator Bamakino, Senator Pangilinan, Senator Erwin Tulfo, Senate President, Senator Joel Villanueva, Senator Judge Risa Ontiveros, Senator Judge Padilla, and Senator Judge Aimee Marcos, and Senator Judge Ejercito. In that order. It'll be in the journal anyway tomorrow.
Your Honor, please, before any other announcements, can we ask that the witness be excused?
Yes, the chair was about to do that. Mr. Wamil, you're excused for the day. Kindly be back again tomorrow without need or necessity of issuing another subpoena. Can we rely on your word that you will be attending tomorrow's hearing for the continuation and hopefully closure of your testimony before the impeachment court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Asahan po namin, you are excused, sir. Thank you po sa inyong kooperasyon at oras at pasensya. Before we adjourn, Chair notes that the next witness, Ms. Eileen May Del Ocampo, was only subpoenaed to appear before the court on August 3 and August 4. The clerk is thereby directed to issue and the Sergeant at Arms to serve a subpoena for the appearance of Ms. Eileen May Del Ocampo of the COA ICFAO, which subpoena shall remain valid from August 5, 2026 until August 11, 2026. With respect to Marivic Pareja, who was subpoenaed for August 4 and 5, the issuance of subpoena will depend on the chair's ruling on the motion for judicial notice of the prosecution, which the chair will rule upon after hearing the respondent orally or through a written manifestation or motion regarding this matter tomorrow before we adjourn. So ordered.
Few
The
manifestations,
panel
Your
of
Honor.
prosecutors, with the permission of the lead prosecutor, allow the presiding officer to finish with one other administrative matter. The panel of prosecutors also filed a motion to set a conference for the transfer of exhibit markings to be set at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, tomorrow, August 5, 2026, for the transfer of markings from copies previously marked during the pre-trial order. Given that this is administrative in nature, the request and the motion is granted. The counsel for respondent is directed, as well as counsel for the panel of prosecutors, to assign lawyers for this change of markings to be conducted again, for the record, at 4 p.m. of Wednesday, August 5, 2026. That is tomorrow.
Your Honor,
Yes, what
may
is
I
the...
be recognized, Your Honor? Good afternoon.
Before the lead counsel for the respondent, I think the lead prosecutor earlier asked for recognition. What is the pleasure of the Honorable Luis Trom?
First of all, Your Honor, we just want to acknowledge your pronouncement earlier about the setting of the transfer of marking of exhibits that will be on August 5, 4 p.m.
Tomorrow.
This pertains particularly to Exhibit P4-3 and series through P4-35B. Second, Your Honor, we also acknowledge the pronouncement of the impeachment court relative to the oral or written comment of the defense to the earlier motion of the prosecution that was filed on August 3. That is to take judicial notice of the hearings conducted both by the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability and the Committee on Justice, Your Honor. That's for the record. And third, Your Honor, this is in line also with another pronouncement of the impeachment court in compliance with, relative to our compliance to the 5-day notice rule. We will be submitting the list of witnesses for next week, as well as the request for issuance of subpoena tomorrow, August 5, because the same will depend on the conclusion of the testimony of Ms. Silene Del Campo, as well as the ruling of the impeachment court with regards to the motion to take judicial notice on the hearing of the two committees of the House of Representatives, Your Honor.
That's all?
Yes, Your Honor.
Duly noted. What is the pleasure of the lead counsel of the respondent?
Thank you, Your Honor. First, with respect to the motion to set conference for the transfer of exhibit markings, I just note that under paragraph 3 on page 2 of this motion, the prosecution is also requesting for the portion of Arturo Las Cañas affidavit, paragraphs 270, 270 paragraph B, and 270 paragraph D, to be also marked. Now, I would just like to put on record that we're objecting even to the marking of this particular exhibit, consistent with the ruling of this court when we objected to the reading session of the NBI Director Melvin Matibag when he testified and was cross-examined by Defense Counsel Attorney Mark Vinluan. So we object to the marking of this portion of Arturo Las Cañas affidavit. As of this point, no witness has yet testified on this affidavit, and it is on record, if we review the record of the court, that that supposed affidavit was unnotarized and was not signed by anybody, let alone identified by any competent witness. And also, Your Honor, the motion is to set conference for the transfer of exhibit markings. Now, this presupposes that there has already been a marking on the original document. Now, if there's no competent witness who has identified the affidavit of Las Cañas, then there is no reason for a supposed transfer of exhibit markings. We object. We object to item number 3 of this motion. We will not agree. And if the presiding court, if the presiding officer will rule to allow even the pre-marking or the marking of this item under this motion, then we would like to have our objection, continuing objection to the allowance of even the marking of this particular exhibit put on record, Your Honor. Thank you.
May we respond, Your Honor?
To afford the court some time to rule on the matter, let the marking and pre-markings proceed tomorrow without prejudice to a ruling of the chair with finality in open court. with respect to the objection raised by the counsel for the lead counsel rather for the prosecutor at the appropriate time, most likely tomorrow also. No, probably on Monday, counsel, before we finally act on it after the marking and pre-marking to be done tomorrow. Again, that is without prejudice to noting the continuing objection of the counsel for the respondent on the matter. In any way, we will be finally ruling on the admissibility of these documentary pieces of evidence once formal offer is made.
We will do that, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel.
Okay, so pag-usapan po natin yung tungkol sa senator judges natin kung whether or not dapat po ba ay passive lang talaga sila, meaning hindi sila dapat nagtatanong ng mga questions in a very aggressive manner kung saan dahil po sa mga questions sila ay nilalabel sila ngayon as senator judge for the prosecution or senator judge for the defense. Okay, so for today po, para maintindihan nyo talaga, explain ko po sa inyo yung constitutional basis ng functions ng senator judges, kung ano po yung nakasulat sa Senate impeachment rules, sa Code of Judicial Conduct, and isang kaso din po in relation to the actions of judges in cases. Okay, and aside from that po, magbibigay na lang din ako ng personal observations ko kay Senator Judge Chis Escudero as the presiding officer at sa mga actions din po ng iilan ng senator judges natin. So alam naman po natin na meron ng 10 impeachment trial days na nangyari po for the impeachment case si Vice President Sara Duterte, and naka 3 weeks na rin po tayo. So sa lahat po ng nangyari so far sa impeachment, isa po sa common denominator na comments na nakikita ko po ay may ilan daw tayong senator judges na senator judge prosecutor tapos senator judge defense. Hindi ko na lang po papangalanan kung sino yung mga senator judges na yon para iwas tayo masyado sa political side of things, kasi ang purpose ko lang po talaga dito sa video na to ay i-discuss lang yung role talaga dapat ng judges sa mga kaso para mas maintindihan nyo po talaga whether or not nga po dapat ba passive lang sila or pwede sila magtanong aggressively. Okay, so kayo na po bahala magsabi or mag-determine kung sino si senator judge prosecutor or si senator judge defendant. Bakit nga ba naging senator judges talaga yung mga senator natin? And I know this is very basic pero explain ko lang po para maintindihan nyo talaga yung actual foundation nitong discussion natin. So this is a 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, and under Article 11 po yan, accountability of public officers. Tapos Section 3, number 6. So ito po yan. The Senate shall have the sole power to try and decide all cases of impeachment. So pag nag-convene po ang Senate as an Senate impeachment court, hindi kasi yun sila simple na senador na lang, kung hindi senator judges po yung tawag sa kanila, kasi ang trabaho na po nila pag ganun ay to try and decide yung impeachment case na final po or inakyat sa Senate as the impeachment trial court. Therefore, they are now governed or dapat sundin po nila yung mga principles or code of conduct in relation to judges, kasi nga po senator judge na yung tawag sa kanila. Okay, so yan po yung pinaka-reason kaya naging senator judges yung senators natin. And then yung next naman po ay pupunta naman tayo sa Bill of Rights. So the Bill of Rights po kasi dito natin makikita yung right to due process natin in Section 1. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of laws. So ito po pinapakita ko lang sa inyo. Kasi when we speak of due process, isa po sa pinaka-fundamental talaga dyan ay dapat pag kinokondak ang isang legal or judicial proceeding, dapat po mabigyan ng impartial justice yung akusado or respondent. So when you say impartial justice, dapat po yung mga judges na nag-handle ng kaso na yon ay hindi po sila bias. Yan po yung very simple way to explain it. And again, that is because of our right to due process. Kasi pag yung mga judges po ay may mga biases, edi hindi na po yun impartial justice, di ba? Parang nagkaroon na lang yan ng proceeding, pakitang tao na lang para lang magkaroon ng appearance of compliance with the rule of law. Pero yun pala, niluto na yung proceeding, di ba? So again, in relation po to Section 1, our right to due process, our senator judges must be impartial. So ito po yung pinaka-foundation yan, yung rule or yung requirement ng impartiality from our senator judges. And then ngayon po, punta naman tayo sa 2025 Code of Judicial Conduct and Accountability. Okay, so kung makita po nyo, this is a very new na rules po governing mga judges in general. This was promulgated lang November 11, 2025 at ang tawag nga po dito is the 2025 Code of Judicial Conduct and Accountability, AM number 25-04-04-SC. So ang una nyo pong kailangan matandaan dito, hindi to siya strictly legally speaking pwede talaga ipagpilit na sundin ng senator judges natin kasi hindi naman po member ng judiciary yung senator judges natin. They are still considered as senator judges. So para naging hybrid na po yan sila na under nung Article 6 Legislative Department in relation dun sa Article 11 po na Accountability of Public Officers na provision. Pero since may judges na nga sila, pwede to gamitin as a basis na sundan nila kasi senator judges nga po may judges na aspect din yung function nila which is to conduct the impeachment trial na dapat impartial po sila